Am I audible, dear students?
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Okay. At
Yes,
that
sir.
point of time, yeah. So today I will discuss about unit, 17, 18, 19, and 20, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what's 17? 17 is understanding policy evaluation. What do we mean by policy evaluation? Who can say that?
So to evaluate means to judge the value or worth of someone or something. Or
Mm-hmm.
and policy evaluation means to examine the policy, its implementation and impacts,
Uh-huh.
and also the evaluation process. Evaluation can be done through various methodologies, scientific methods, interdisciplinary approaches, and electronic data processing systems.
Sorry.
So the
Mm,
evaluation process can be done through various methodologies, scientific methods, interdisciplinary approaches, and electronic data processing system.
Uh, See, first of all, we need to understand, what are the nature of policy evaluation. Okay, I mean how the policy evaluation can be done. Okay, actually, the term evaluation actually embraces a wide range of activities. Okay, evaluations are undertaken in all spheres of life. Okay, in informal or formal ways. A distinction is made between the activities of appraisal, monitoring, and evaluation. Okay, so appraisal is usually taken to mean a critical examination of a program before the latter is approved for implementation and funding. Okay, so both monitoring and evaluation are undertaken to find out how a program performs or has performed. So monitoring primarily covers issues of finance, and quality pertaining to inputs and outputs as well as actors. Okay, so and time used in implementation. Usually, monitoring encompasses some current assessment of the progress of a project, including difficulties in obtaining the expected results, and these may possibly be analyzed more thoroughly in some subsequent evaluation. So, evaluation is a more systematic and scientific attempt with emphasis on impacts and efficiency, effectiveness, relevance, reliability, and sustainability. Okay, so Rosie and Freeman actually they argue that what is important is that some people are saying that you please add them in the group, WhatsApp group. I see some of the messages here. Hello, excuse me,
Yes,
who is the group admin? Please add
sir.
other people
Sir, you are
because
also a good admin.
no, but I really do not know how to add them. It is better
Okay.
you people add people. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have only added the coordinator of our Revensa IGNO office. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
you
sir. I
please
will
add
do that.
your other friends. Okay. So
Yes,
that
sir.
there will be better coordination. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I think when we so policy evaluation, it can be briefly described as a procedure that appraises the worthlessness of a policy and considers the special context and political and economic variables of the situation. Okay, for example, evaluation research may pinpoint the extent to which the goals of a policy are achieved besides identifying the constraints associated with it. Okay, poor results obviously imply lack of effectiveness and efficiency. However, policy evaluation may suggest changes in policy to obtain desired results. So, evaluation research also assumes that the programs can be scrapped if it is not effective. Okay, so for a policy maker, policy evaluation is a means of getting the relevant information and knowledge regarding policy problems, the effectiveness of past and prevailing strategies for reducing or eliminating the problems so as to improve the effectiveness of specific policies. Okay, so there are certain criteria for evaluation also. Okay, how we evaluate it? ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ policy ହେଇଛି ଆମେ କେମିତି ତାକୁ evaluate କରିବା? How we will evaluate it? For example, equity, efficiency, effectiveness. Okay, equity, efficiency and effectiveness, all of you can understand it. Okay, then next is Pareto optimality. What is Pareto optimality? This one I will try to explain you. You know, the efficiency is a condition in which goods are produced at the lowest possible cost and in accordance with the highest preference of consumers. So, as per the Pareto definition, a given economic arrangement was efficient if there could be no arrangement or rearrangement that would leave someone better off without worsening the position of others. So, under Pareto optimality, thus, a policy that makes one or several persons better off without hurting anyone else is desirable. However, Pareto optimality is not without limitations. Some policies, such as those related to welfare, do not fare well under Pareto optimality. Welfare is, in a sense, social transfers. Some are made better through the distribution of social resources, and distribution requires making some poorer by taking their wealth to make others better off. Okay, so there may not be general acceptability to this objection. Okay, so it is argued, for example, that giving relief is designed primarily to serve the larger economic and political order by ensuring social stability and only secondarily to give relief to the recipients. Okay, the next one is adequacy. Adequacy means what? Now it actually refers to whether a given level of effectiveness results in the satisfaction of needs or values. Okay, so I mean actually माने जो पॉलिसीटा ହେଇଛି सेटा actually adequate कि नुहे सेटा हमको जानिबा दरकार. Then next होची public interest, whether এই जो पॉलिसीटा ହେଇଛି ता दरे पब्लिक कर कोनोसी इंटरेस्ट अछि ना नाही, or this policy is a useless policy because the public has no interest in it. So what kind of so this is also very important. Okay, the next is public participation and responsiveness. Okay, what do you mean by public participation and responsiveness? किए कहि परिबो? किए कहि परिबो? किए कहि परिबो? Please respond.
Yes, sir, public took part in the policy decisions and implementation.
Sir, it is the participation of the people on different programs of the government.
Okay, what else? Others, please respond.
So public participation involves the response of Sorry sir, public participation actually means कि ସେମାନେ ପଲିସିରେ କେତେ ସାଟିସ୍ଫାଏଡ୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି ନ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେଇଟା ସେ କେମିତି ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଇଟାକୁ ପବ୍ଲିକ ପାର୍ଟିସିପେସନ କୁହାଯାଉଛି। ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ପଲିସିକୁ ସେ କେମିତି ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ନେଗେଟିଭ ୱେରେ ହଉ ପଜିଟିଭ ୱେରେ ହଉ।
Any other response?
Sir, involvement of public in the various steps of public policy.
Yes.
And like that, policy decision making, then implementation, then evaluation, and outcome in each every method and procedure. Involvement of
Uh-huh.
public.
Hmm.
Sir, it is the
Okay.
power with the people. Sir, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please.
Yes, sir, it is the power. How much power people have in deciding the policies?
Uh-huh.
How much power they have in making decisions?
Okay. See, that's the question. ଯେ ପବ୍ଲିକ ପାର୍ଟିସିପେସନ ମାନେ ହଉଛି ଯେ ଯୋଉ ପଲିସିଟା ଆମେ ବନଉଛେ ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ, whether they are interested or they are not interested. That is the big question. Okay, whether they are interested or they are not interested. That is the question that we are actually looking for. Okay, then the next thing is that sustainability. What is sustainability? Sustainability means that it is an actually important context, concept in development context. It actually refers to the continuation of the practices or work done or measures taken under a policy after the termination of current interventions under the same or an alternative policy. In more specific terms, sustainability would mean maintenance of physical facilities produced, you know, uh, and continued ability to join, plan, manage similar work, continued production of the kinds of output created, and in multiplication of effects and inputs. So sustainability is, sorry, is there anything? Anybody said something? Okay. So I think, okay. So the next thing is that, so then what types of evaluation? Okay. There is a philosopher named as Daniel Lerner. Okay, Daniel Lerner. He actually evaluates. Okay, he actually evaluates. There are process evaluation, impact evaluation, comprehensive evaluation. Okay, so I think these three types of evaluation that can be done. Okay, process, impact, and comprehensive evaluation. Okay, then evaluation approaches. What are the approaches to evaluation? Okay, so the next is, you know, Acha, what do you mean by approaches? Who can say what do you mean by approaches? Approaches रा माने किए कही परिबो?
Sir, it is the way of presentation.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Sir, it is the way of presentation
Uh-huh.
of
Okay.
of the people near the government.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, okay. What else? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Um, is there any other reply?
Sir, it is
Is there?
the
Approach, sir.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is it is the way to speak about a situation
Uh
um,
huh.
or about a proposal.
Okay. What else?
Sir, it is the way of approach achieving something.
It is a way of
Achieving something, target or goal.
a way of achieving something is not approach. See how we look at the phenomena. That's approach. Okay, ଆମେ କେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷକୁ ଦେଖିବା, our method of looking at the phenomena will be called as approach. Okay, our method of looking at the phenomena, that would be called as approach, not anything else. Okay, ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ତ ପିଲାମାନେ?
Yes, sir.
I mean, how do we look
Yes,
at
sir.
the methods? That's more important than anything else. Okay, okay. So policy evaluation is basically concerned with describing, judging, and explaining policies, their formulation, implementation, and outcomes. Okay, so it deals with questions: what has been done, why and how things have been done, what has been achieved, what are the future prospects or options. So, in this process, analysis analysts adopt different approaches. So some of the routine approaches to policy evaluation has been identified, such as front-end analysis, evaluability assessment, process evaluation, effectiveness evaluation, and evaluation synthesis approach. Okay, so by a front-end analysis, we mean the kind of work which is being undertaken before a decision is made to go ahead of framing policy on a particular issue. Okay, so when we come to methods of evaluation, benefit cost benefit analysis, experimental method, statistical surveys, ମାନେ ଏଗୁଡ଼ାକ ସବୁ ଜାଗା ଆମେ କେମିତି ଗୋଟେ policies କୁ evaluate କରିବା. Okay, ଯେମିତି statistical method ଅଛି ବା qualitative methods ଅଛି, quantitative methods ଅଛି, model building ଅଛି. Okay, ତ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ଯାକ ଗୋଟେ evaluation agency ରେ ଅଛି. The next ହେଉଛି evaluating agencies. Okay, so evaluation by specialized agencies, evaluation by internal units. Okay, then evaluation by legislative committees, evaluation by special committees. Okay, then problems in evaluation. What are the problems? Suppose some people will be in job. I am sure those who are attending classes here, they are in job. Now please tell me, what are the problems in evaluation? I mean, I am sure ତମେ job ରେ ଥିଲା ବେଳେ ତମେ କିଛି ନା କିଛି ତମର ideas ଥିବ. I mean, what are the evaluation, I mean problems in evaluation? Please share here. Hello.
So there must be a target to fulfill. ଆଉ
Uh,
ଯଦି target ଠିକ time ରେ fulfill ନ ହେଇପାରିଲେ ତାହେଲେ ସେଟା evaluation ରେ problem create କରିବ.
uh-huh.
Sir, major problem is how to measure.
Sorry.
So major problem is how to measure the problem. Sir, ଆମେ measure କେମିତି କରିବା? Measurement of the problem is how means we don't have any
Uh,
target or anything.
the lack of information from the people and lack of people's participation.
uh-huh. Okay. What else? ଆଉ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ? I am not convinced. କ'ଣ କ'ଣ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହେଇପାରେ? ଆଉ କ'ଣ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ? ଆଉ ବେଟର ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲେନେସନ ବି ଅଛି.
So data informations.
lack, lack, lack,
Uh-huh.
So
lack
that
of
is means
technique, lack of fund.
yes sir.
Okay.
And also due to methodology in the evaluation.
Acha.
Methods adopted during evaluation or implementation, everything.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. So see ତାପରେ ତମେ ଦେଖ ଯେମିତି ଗୋଲ ସ୍ପେସିଫିକେସନ ମେଜରମେଣ୍ଟ ମାନେ ତମର ଇଏ ଅନୁସାରେ ଯୋଉ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଅନୁସାରେ targets, efficiency and effectiveness, values and evaluation, information and data, methodological problems. All these things are in your study material. Problem of resources, the optimizing dilemma, the unforeseen consequences dilemma, the equity dilemma, the partisan dilemma. I mean, all these things are equally very important. Okay. So I think ଏଥିରେ ତମର ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ସ ଆସିବାର ସମ୍ଭାବନା ଅଛି ଆଇ ମିନ୍ ବଟ୍ ମୋତେ ଲାଗୁଛି ବେଶୀ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ହେଉଛି ଯେଉଁଟାକି ୟୁନୋ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ୍ସ বা ଚ୍ୟାଲେଞ୍ଜେସ୍ କେଉଁ କେଉଁ ଜାଗାରେ ରହିଛି ଇଭାଲୁଏସନରେ ପଲିସି ଇଭାଲୁଏସନରେ ଆଇ ଥିଙ୍କ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଫର୍ ମି ଇଜ୍ ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ ଭେରି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଓକେ ସେମିତି ଅନ୍ୟାନ୍ୟ ଜିନିଷ ବି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଥାଇପାରେ ବଟ୍ ମୋତେ ଲାଗୁଛି ଏଇ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ଟା ବେଶୀ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ବୋଲି ଆଇ ଫିଲ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ୍ ମୋର୍ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଦେନ୍ ଏନିଥିଙ୍ଗ ଏଲ୍ସ ଓକେ ଦ ନେକ୍ସଟ ୱାନ୍ ଇଜ୍ ascertaining policy impact okay what is this ascertaining policy impact who can say hello
So impact means what are the outcomes of the policy after it has been implemented.
ହଁ ମାନେ କଥା ହେଲା ପଲିସିଟା ଇମ୍ପ୍ଲିମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇସାରିଲା ପରେ ସେ କ'ଣ ଇମ୍ପ୍ଲିମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇଛି ତାର ମାନେ କ'ଣ ପୋଷ୍ଟ ପଲିସି ଇଭାଲୁଏସନ୍ ଆମେ ଯୋଉଟା କହୁଛେ ହେଲା ଆମେ ସେଟାକୁ ରଫଲି କହୁଛେ କ'ଣ ପୋଷ୍ଟ ପଲିସି ଇଭାଲୁଏସନ୍ ହ୍ୱାଟ ଡୁ ୟୁ ମିନ୍ ବାଇ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଆଇ ମିନ୍ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ ଯେ ପୋଷ୍ଟ ପଲିସି ଇଭାଲୁଏସନ୍ଟା କ'ଣ ଜଷ୍ଟ
It is the
Consequences.
sir, it is the effect of that policy on the people.
ଟିକେ ପିଲାମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ
ମିଳିଲାନି ପରା ସେଟା ମିଳିଲାନି ଯେଟା ମିଳିଲା ସେଟା ବୋଲି
Sorry, I was a little bit, yeah. So, what exactly we mean by policy impact? For example, policy impact significant. I mean, when we try to understand the policy impacts, those who are in job and they know that once we implement some acts, or policies, we will try to ascertain whether the policies are hitting the target or not, or ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ସେ ପଲିସି ହେଉଛି ସେଟା କରେକ୍ଟଲି ଇମ୍ପ୍ଲିମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଉଛି ନା ହେଉନାହିଁ. So these are some of the important questions before all of us to address the question of policy impact. For example, see, when we try to understand the significance and purpose of impact analysis, we see that some specific target situation or group, spillover effects on situations or groups other than the target, future as well as immediate conditions, direct costs of relevant programs, and indirect costs including alternative programs on which resources might have been spent. So, from a broader point of view, to make certain that public policies and management of their associated programs meet the needs of the society, it is necessary to analyze programs to determine their consequences. Okay. So, that is to measure the degree of their success in meeting the nation's goals. More specifically, it seems not only useful but also necessary to know how things are going with respect to three critical levels in any administrative situation which are mentioned below. Okay, are policies and programs generating expected outcomes? Okay, number one, are organizations accomplishing their mission and role with efficiency? Are specific individuals within any organization performing well? So these are some of the key questions which we try to face when we address the question of ascertaining policy impact. Okay. See, then we have another thing is the types or dimensions of impact. कौन type रो गोटे होची direct impact, आ गोटे होची indirect impact, आ गोटे होची positive impact, negative impact, immediate impact, futuristic impacts. I mean, so impacts in terms of benefit cost relation. Okay. Then measuring and assessing the impact. Okay. So government or policy agencies are presumed to be keen in seeking favorable outcomes and impact from their policies. So the question is, does a specific policy produce what is intended and with what unexpected consequences? This may appear to be a simple question, but such questions are in reality highly complex and in terms of methods necessary for more or less conclusive analysis, as well as in terms of tendency to be related to ever widening ripples of effect. Okay. So what is important is that an important point for consideration is the reliability or quality of impact evaluation. Okay. So an adequate impact analysis should at minimum do the following: provide an adequate description of the program or techniques whose impact is being tested. Number one, provide clear assurance that the program or techniques can be learned and applied by others also. Divide the study population into groups on a random basis so as to wash out as many confounding variables as possible. Okay. Provide before and after measures of the behavior which were targeted for change. Okay. Then establish definitions of success or failure that provide valid standards for assessing the outcomes of the study group under impact assessment. So in the previous unit on policy evaluation, we discussed the methods and techniques of evaluation. Okay. What is important is that, so what we can do is that, so I think these things you have to keep it in mind. Okay. Then next is comparing with standards, administrative reports, ascertaining impact through grievances and complaints. These things are also equally important in ascertaining the the evaluation methods. Then case study method, survey survey methods. So these things are also equally important. Then survey based rapid assessment, participatory assessment, cost benefit, and other analytical methods. So when we try to understand policy impact, there are certain problems, and we can definitely suggest some of the we can suggest how to address these problems. Okay. For example, some of the important things, if I am allowed to speak, impact studies or impact analysis are the most neglected area on the part of those who are involved in the policy process, as also by the academicians. Okay. While doing impact analysis and fixing of standards, policymakers tend to rely on comparisons with the past. Okay. So Dror opines that comparison with the past in many respects is misleading because it does not provide any 0 point for reliable conclusion. Okay. So by comparing, it cannot be ascertained whether a particular performance of this year is actually better or less bad. So these two conclusions are logically identical, but they have totally different implications as to what can and must be improved in the evaluation process, and as to whether members of the organization are to feel self satisfied or inclined to introduce change. So even when achievements are higher than in the past, sorry, hello,
Yes, sir.
hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so they often lag increasingly behind what is possible, needed, and demanded, and they should therefore often be evaluated as worse. तमे ड्रोर को ना सुनिच आमे जेतबेले करूथिले गोटे मॉडल्स ऑफ पॉलिसी एनालिसिस सेतबेले ड्रोर was a very important figure in at that point of time. Okay, so then impact evaluation often suffers because of the probable conflict between the two grossly defined roles, that is, of the evaluator and the administrator. So if the evaluator is objective, he would assume a challenging skeptical attitude towards any findings. However, the administrator of a program is often put in a position of trying rather than desperately to come up with positive findings. So administrators have to work within certain compulsions. They depend upon funding by other agencies and have to justify their actions and even project to be successful. So impact evaluators in the government generally lack research capabilities. Ambiguity, lack of appropriate basis for comparison, and lack of concrete evidence increase the administrator's control over assessments, or at least to minimize the criticism in case of failure. Okay, so I think these are some of the important points that you can keep it in mind. Then the next thing that comes to our mind is policy analysis. Okay, so what is, I mean, how do we look at the policy analysis ଆମେ କେମିତି ଦେଖୁଛେ ସେଟାକୁ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
Yes, sir.
ହଁ ଆମେ କେମିତି ଦେଖୁଛେ ସେଟାକୁ yes ଆମେ କେମିତି ଦେଖୁଛେ ସେଟାକୁ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ ଆରେ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ ହଁ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ
No, sir.
No,
ପଲିସି
sir.
ଓକେ ସି ଦେଖ ଆମର ପଲିସି ଆନାଲିସିସଟା ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ତିନି ପ୍ରକାର ହୁଏ ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି ଏମ୍ପିରିକାଲ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି ଇଭାଲୁଏଟିଭ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଦେନ୍ ଫାଇନାଲି ନର୍ମାଟିଭ ପଲିସି ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ ଓକେ ନା ଏଇଟା ହେଲା ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ୱେରେ ଆମେ ପଲିସିଟାକୁ ଦେଖିପାରୁଛେ ନର୍ମାଟିଭ ମାନେ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ ନର୍ମାଟିଭ ମାନେ କିଏ କହିବ ଆରେ ନର୍ମାଟିଭ ମାନେ କିଏ କହିପାରିବ
So based on
Normative is
ethics,
meant
କୁହ
so
ଆମେ ପୁରା
based on
ଡିସ୍କସ୍ କରିଥିଲେ
morality, like earlier,
yes yes
some
yes empirical ମାନେ ହେଉଛି objective scientific and evaluative ମାନେ ଆମେ evaluate କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛେ so these things are very very important when it comes to these things then restorative perspective policy analysis okay what is restorative perspective policy analysis okay so this is also restorative policy analysis refers to the historical analysis and interpretation of past policies okay ମାନେ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ପଲିସିଟାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ହିଷ୍ଟୋରିକାଲ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଅଫ ଭ୍ୟୁରୁ ଦେଖୁଛେ ଆମେ ସେଇଟାକୁ କହୁଛେ ଗୋଟେ ରେଷ୍ଟୋରେଟିଭ ପଲିଟିକାଲ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ okay then next is predictive next is uh, hello
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
am I audible
Yes,
yes
sir.
sir.
okay so next
Yes,
is
sir.
predictive prescriptive and descriptive policy analysis okay so predictive policy analysis refers to forecasting of future states resulting from the implementation of particular policy alternatives so the prescriptive analysis recommends actions that result in a particular outcome when the policy analysts are not sure about the nature of solution to a problem or there is no programmed way of selecting a particular solution among alternatives then they may opt for prescriptive policy analysis here the policymaker's attitude preferences and beliefs may influence the selection of an option among alternatives. For example, one might conduct a study to see the impact of changing income tax rates on the saving habits of people who are paying income tax. So, if the study recommends for lowering income tax rate, that will result in higher savings. So, this is a prescriptive study. Okay, then we have the certain methods and techniques of policy analysis. I think this unit is a repeated unit. Actually, we have almost analyzed some of these things. For example, methods and techniques we have already done it before. Then process of policy analysis, in process there are certain techniques. For example, verify, define and detail the problem. ଯେପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଆମେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମଟାକୁ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଫାଏ ନ କରିନେ ସେ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଆମେ ପଲିସି ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ କରିପାରିବା ନାହିଁ establish evaluation criteria identify alternative evaluate alternative policies display and distinguish among alternative policies monitoring the implemented policy so I think these are some of the important things which come to our mind when we try to understand the policy analysis. But gotte jinsa please try to understand गुड़ाए यूनिट्स आदरे अच्छी जोड़ा कि एक्स्ट्रा अच्छी तेणु तमें एठी एक्चुअली योर टास्क इज एक्चुअली वेरी इजी आई मीन तमें आधरे बहुत क्विकली तमें आइडेंटिफाई करि परिबो कौन कौन क्वेश्चंस आर वेरी इंपोर्टेंट आमे तले आज हमर क्लास सरीबो आ गोटे यूनिट परे आमे एक्चुअली काली सारंकर परमिशन नहीं कोऑर्डिनेटर सार जदी मते अनुमति देबे काली क्लास करिवा पई काली हो किंबा डे आफ्टर टुमारो हो so I can actually take a class जोठी कि एक्चुअली फर्स्ट क्लास टा मोर मिस हेतिला तेणु सेटा को आमे कवर करिबा एवं गोटे रिवाइज क्लास करी को यूनिट एवं कोन कोन ताधरे इंपोर्टेंट अछि आमे एक्चुअली सेटा को डिस्कस करि परिबा ओनली इंपोर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस नथिंग एल्स आमे पूरा यूनिट किना घंटे घंटा भितरे 20 टा यूनिट माने गोटे यूनिट को मात्र 3 मिनिट समय am I clear
Yes, sir.
आमे केवल कोन कोन इंपोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन सेनु सेई जो घंटाए आमे आलोचना करिबा अच्छा will it be a problem if I take a class at 4 o'clock
No,
just for
sir.
one day?
No, sir.
Okay, so what I will do is tomorrow I may not be able to take your class, but day after tomorrow I will take one class only to revise the entire MPA-16 syllabus. Okay, at
Yes,
4
sir.
o'clock, but only with the permission of the coordinator sir. If he gives me permission, I will take a class at 4 to 5 o'clock. Okay, is that clear?
Yes,
So
sir.
that we can revise
Okay,
the
sir.
entire syllabus. ओके एवं तम मानकर भी जदि किसी को यूनिट रे स्पेसिफिक डाउट्स अछि तमे मते सेठी पचारि परिबो एनी स्पेसिफिक डाउट विथ रिगार्ड टू तमर असाइनमेंट हो किबा तमर व्हाटएवर यू थिंक is important or you should seek some clarification but only with regard to your syllabus nothing related to igno ମୁଁ ଇଗ୍ନୋ ବିଷୟରେ କିଛି ଜାଣିନି because I am not associated with IGNO. You can actually ask it through the I mean to the coordinator, but don't call him. You I mean just send a WhatsApp. Okay, that's much better. Don't call him. He may not be able to respond you. Okay. So I think with this we come to an end to your chapter number 19. Okay. Then we have the last unit, which is methods and techniques. Again, see the same thing: methods and techniques of policy analysis. So, can you see some repetitions here? अरे एठी repetition ହେଇଛି ना नहीं?
But there are some new things in there.
Yeah,
Let's
but
do
see,
it.
yeah, जो policy and techniques रे तम देख गोटे हूँ कॉस्ट बेनिफिट सोशल कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस आम तो यहाँ आगुरी भी आलोचना करें ना कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस तुम 17 नंबर यूनिट रे नथिला
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
हाँ आउ ताले न्यू थिंग सो आई थिंक ये जो तादरे अच्छी बेसिकली दी प्रकार अच्छी गोटे हूँ सोशल कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस आ गोटे हूँ इंटर सेक्टरल इनपुट आउटपुट एनालिसिस ओके सो दी कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस जदि आम ट्राए करवा डिफाइन करने इज वन ऑफ दी मेथड्स यूज्ड इन इकोनॉमिक इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ पॉलिसी एनालिसिस so this method permits policy analysts to compare and advocate policies by quantifying their total monetary costs and benefits. So while cost benefit analysis can be used prospectively to recommend policy actions, it can also be used retrospectively to evaluate policy performance. So I think cost benefit analysis is also known as rate of return analysis and the procedure followed to compute is similar to that of ordinary investment policy ordinary investment policy evaluation. So the rationale of using cost benefit analysis कौन तार rationale रही गोटे हूँ economic efficiency आ गोटे हूँ equity तापरे से भाया advantage disadvantage कौन ना first advantage होची it enables the policy analyst to work out the actual costs and benefits of alternative policies. So in this process the cost and benefits that have not been part of the discussion may come to light you know, uh, hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And the costs and benefits are as measured in monetary terms. Okay. Uh, so I think so. These are some of the advantage. What I can say. I mean, how do I look at it? I mean, actually, uh, ଆଉ କିଏ କିଛି କହିପାରିବ? Is there anything? ଆଉ କିଏ କିଛି କହିପାରିବ? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ।
Hello, sir.
ହଁ।
Sir, how to find the cost? Sir, cost benefit
ସରି,
analysis रे how to find, sir, cost benefit analysis ରେ
ତମେ
how
କଷ୍ଟ
to,
ମାନେ କ'ଣ ବୁଝୁଛ?
ସାର୍ ସେଇଟା ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ମାନେ ଅଛି ଆଉଟ୍ ଅଛି ସାର୍, କେମିତି ଆମେ ଇଏ ଜାଣିବୁ କଷ୍ଟ କେମିତି ହବ?
ଧରାଯାଉ ଗୋଟେ ପଲିସି ହେଲା, ମୁଁ ତମକୁ କହିଲି ଯେ କଷ୍ଟ ବେନିଫିଟ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ କର। ତମେ କଷ୍ଟଟା କେମିତି ଭାବୁଛ? ତମେ କ'ଣ ଭାବୁଛ ଯେ ଇନ୍ ଟର୍ମସ୍ ଅଫ୍ ମେଟେରିଆଲି ଆମେ କ'ଣ ସେଟାକୁ କାଲକୁଲେଟ୍ କରିପାରିବା କି? ଏଇଟା ବା ପଲିସିର କଷ୍ଟ ବେନିଫିଟ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ ମାନେ କ'ଣ? ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ନର୍ମାଟିଭ ୱେରେ ଏଟାକୁ ଇଭାଲୁଏଟ୍ କରିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରୁଛେ। ମାନେ ଧରାଯାଉ ମୁଁ ଏଇଖିଣା ତମକୁ କହିବି ଯେ ଲେଟ୍ସ ସେ ତମେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛ? ଯେ ମୋତେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ପଚାରିଲ ଏବେ।
ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟୁଷ।
ପ୍ରତ୍ୟୁଷ, ତମେ ଏବେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛ?
ସାର୍ ଆଜ୍ଞା
ପାଠ ପଢୁଛ?
ହଁ ସାର୍।
ଓକେ। ଆଉ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଜବ୍ରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି, ଧରାଯାଉ ଜଣେ କିଏ ଗୋଟେ ଜବ୍ରେ ଅଛି, ଧରାଯାଉ ମୁଁ ଏଇଖିଣା କହିବି ଫାର୍ମର୍ସ ଲଜ୍, ତ ଫାର୍ମରମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଯେଉଁ ଏଇଟା ଆଇନ ହେଇଛି ତାର ଗୋଟେ କଷ୍ଟ ବେନିଫିଟ୍ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍। ଓକେ। ତେଣୁ ତମେ କଷ୍ଟ ବେନିଫିଟ୍ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ଟା ତମେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଅବଜେକ୍ଟିଭଲି ଆସେସ୍ କରିପାରିବନି। ଓକେ। ତାର ଗୋଟେ ସବଜେକ୍ଟିଭ ଇଭାଲୁଏସନ୍ ହେବା ଦରକାର, ତାର ଗୋଟେ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ ହେବା ଦରକାର, ତାର ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ରଡ୍ ଅଣ୍ଡରଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡିଂ ରହିବା ଦରକାର। ତ এইগুড়াক হচ্ছে ভেরি ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট নো ফর এনি পলিসি মেকর্স। ওকে, ইজ দ্যাট ক্লিয়ার?
yes sir,
হ্যালো।
yes sir,
তারপরে হচ্ছে দিস ডিসঅ্যাডভান্টেজেস অফ কস্ট বেনিফিট অ্যানালিসিস। ফার্স্ট ইজ ইট পুটস এক্সক্লুসিভ এমফাসিস অন ইকোনমিক এফিসিয়েন্সি। So therefore, the equity criteria is meaningless unless we compute cost-benefit analysis for different strata of the population. Then the monetary value is an inadequate measure of responsiveness, since the actual value of money varies from one person to another. For example, an extra income of Rs 100 may have more value for a poor person than rich. So when the actual market prices are not available, the policy analyst is forced to use shadow prices that are in practice subjective and arbitrary. Okay. Then identification of costs and benefits. Okay. ମାନେ ଆମେ କେମିତି ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଫାଇ କରିବା, ଯୋଉଟା କି ତମେ ଯୋଉଟା ଏବେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ପଚାରିଲ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟୁଷ, ଯେ କଷ୍ଟ ଆଉ ବେନିଫିଟ୍। ଓକେ। ତମେ ଦେଖ, ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି ଇଣ୍ଟରନାଲ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏକ୍ସଟର୍ନାଲ କଷ୍ଟ ଆଣ୍ଡ ବେନିଫିଟ୍। ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ହେଉଛି ଟାଞ୍ଜିବୁଲ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଇନଟାଞ୍ଜିବୁଲ କଷ୍ଟ, ଯୋଉଟାକି ମୁଁ କହିଲି। ଓକେ। ତାପରେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ହେଉଛି ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଇନଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ କଷ୍ଟ। ଗୋଟେ କହୁଛି ତମକୁ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟଲି ମାନେ ଇମ୍ପାକ୍ଟ ପକାଉଛି, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଇନଡାଇରେକ୍ଟଲି ଇମ୍ପାକ୍ଟ ପକାଉଛି। ଦ ବେଷ୍ଟ ଏକ୍ଜାମ୍ପଲ ଇଜ୍ ଧରାଯାଉ ଲେଟ୍ସ ସେ ତମେ ଇଗ୍ନୋ କ୍ଲାସ୍ କରୁଛ। ଓକେ। କଷ୍ଟ ବେନିଫିଟ୍ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ କେମିତି କରିବ କୁହ ମୋତେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ। ଆରେ ତମେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ କରୁଛ?
yes sir,
ଆରେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ କରୁଛ ନା ନାଇଁ?
ହଁ ସାର୍।
ତାହେଲେ ତାହାର କଷ୍ଟ ବେନିଫିଟ୍ ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ଟା କେମିତି କରିବ ତମେ?
ସାର୍ how much mark we
if
get?
if it will be beneficial for us, then we consider that it will be effective.
Just a second, just a second. हेलो या सो तेणु जितेबाला आम यू नो सो हाँ किए कहीपर जो आम क्लासटा करुचे तार टैंजिबल बेनिफिट्स किए कहीपर हेलो हेलो
Yes, sir.
हाँ टैंजिबल बेनिफिट्स विषय किए कहीपर हेलो
Yes, sir.
Sir, tangible benefits जो गुड़ाक मनी रे कन्वर्ट हो पारुथुबो सेट ताकू tangible benefits कहा जाउछि।
हाँ हाँ ओके व्हाट एल्स माने मो कहया कथा जे तमे आमे जो क्लासटा करूचे तार कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिसटा किए करि परिबो
सर आम केते एग्जाम्स रे आम केमिति ये करछु परफॉर्म करछु एग्जाम्स
हाँ हाँ
आम लाइफ रे केते बेनिफिट होची
ओके
आम केते
सर हम
यूज करि
सर्टिफिकेट
परछु
रो
सर
वैल्यू कोन रहउछि?
Okay, good, good. So some of you have identified how to do cost benefit analysis. So I think what is important is that तापरे होची जे internal rate of return. Okay. तम देख एगुड़ा सब जगह गोटे मैथमेटिकल जो फॉर्मूला देइछि दैट मे नॉट बी वेरी वेरी इंपोर्टेंट फॉर यू माने ये जो केमिति कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस करिवो ओके तापरे तमे देख माने इंटरसेक्टोरल इनपुट आउटपुट एनालिसिस या माने कोन actually it derives from the name of the work Wassily Leontief. So okay, so this work earned him Nobel Prize in Economics in 1973. Okay, man actually these are some of the strategies for cost benefit analysis. ସେମାନେ actually ତାକୁ objectify କରିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରୁଛନ୍ତି. Some people are actually trying to objectively analyze cost benefit analysis. But in my knowledge as political science and public administration students, तमे माने actually what you should be concerned is that केमिति तमे नॉर्मेटिव इवैल्यूएशन करि परिबो ऑब्जेक्टिव टा सबु बेले संभव नुहे पर्टिकुलरली पॉलिसीज रे ओके सो दैट्स वेरी ये माने सेटा तुमको देखिया पड़िबो ओके बट अदरवाइज तमरो जहा तमरो स्टडी मटेरियल अच्छी सम ऑफ यू विल फाइंड इट वेरी टफ एक्चुअली से जो पर्टिकुलरली जो तमरो लास्ट यूनिट 20 नंबर यूनिट ओके ସେଇଟା ହେଉଛି ବହୁତ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ତେଣୁ ତାପରେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ହେଉଛି ତେଣୁ ତମେ ମୋ ହିସାବରେ ଆମର ଏଇ ଯେଉଁଗୁଡ଼ା ସରିଲା ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ ଆଜି ତମର କୋଅର୍ଡିନେଟର ସାର୍ଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ କଥା ହେବି ତାପରେ କୋଅର୍ଡିନେଟର ସାର୍ ଯଦି ରାଜି ହେବେ ତାହେଲେ ମୁଁ ପହରଦିନ 4ଟା ବେଳେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ନେବି ଇଜ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ କ୍ଲିୟର
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
ମୁଁ ସାର୍ଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ କଥା ହେବି ସାର୍ ଯଦି ମୋତେ ଅନୁମତି ଦେବେ ତାହେଲେ ମୁଁ କଥା ହେବି ହେଲା
Sir, when our MPA-16 will start?
ୟା ପରେ ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ସରିଗଲା ପରେ
Okay. Thank you,
ହଁ
sir.
ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି ଓକେ
अनिता
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା ଦିଦି
हाँ हाँ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଇନଭିଟେସନ ପଠେଇଛି WhatsApp ରେ
ହଁ
ତାକୁ କ୍ଲିକ୍ କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ଆଡ ହେଇଯିବେ
ଆଡ୍ ହେଇଗଲିଣି ମୁଁ
ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି ତାହେଲେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ସିଏ
ତମେ ତ
ସିଏ
ହଁ
ଗଲେଣି ଆଉ ଅଛି
ଆଡ୍ ହେଇଗଲି
ହଁ ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି ବଟ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ହଁ 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 ବାय ଟୁ ଅଲ୍
ବାଏ କେମିତି କହିଲ ଆସିବେ ପୁଣି I will come back again ଏଇଟା କହିବେ ନା
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ବାଏ ଫର ଟୁଡେ ନଟ୍ ଅଲ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ କହୁନି ବାଏ
ସେଇଟା ଆପଣ ଛାଡି ଦେଇଥିଲେ ନା ଟୁଡେ ଟା
हाँ ठीक और